Performance management meetings is an excellent tool to drive continuous improvements in daily operations. It is a daily morning exercise for the whole team and where the manager is responsible for facilitating the meeting and following up on activities. Performance management meetings are small meetings, lasting no longer than 15 minutes a day. The purpose of the meeting is to kickstart the day by talking about issues that will improve activities and results. For instance, results compared to goals, progress and movement, learning progress, successes to be celebrated, ideas on how to repeat successes, ideas on how to solve problems, get new ideas for how to improve daily work, follow up on activities decided, and plan the day. Some would say that performance management meetings are developing and increasing personal energy, and others would say control, pressure, and decreasing personal energy. The difference between a positive and negative experience is the facilitator's ability to focus on what matters to the individual. Since people are so different in what they perceive matters, it calls for good facilitation skills to get the expected outcome, and it's worth it. Here are some general guidelines for successful performance management meetings. Starting point is the employee's ideas and resources. Coach the team. Let the whiteboard come to life by being creative. Respect that each individual has their own agenda for the meeting. Relate the whiteboard to the overall strategy. Focus on what matters in the moment. Inspire people to believe that things can change and be a role model yourself. Appreciate people and their achievements and potential. Inspire people to take responsibility by believing in them. Speed up and stay focused. Before we dig into the guidelines, let's look at the tool first. The best tool to facilitate the meeting is a permanent whiteboard to be used day after day. Here's an example of how it could look like. You can decorate your whiteboard with what you believe is most important for the team to focus on. Here's an example of how to do it. Start by dividing the whiteboard into 3 sections: goals and results, ideas and challenges, and activities in pipeline and important messages. State the important goals for the team and the results achieved. It can be both long-term and short-term goals. The goals have to be linked to the overall corporate strategy, so everyone understands that what the team does really matters. It has to be goals that make sense for the team to follow up on, and which they are really engaged and committed to reach. Goals and achievements falls into 3 categories, following the RAR model. The RAR model is results, activities, and resources, and it can help you balance your focus on both setting a clear direction and developing people to succeed. Once a year or once a quarter, it can be beneficial for you to do a storytelling about how the strategy is linked to the overall company goals, working methods, needed skills, and what each individual person needs to learn. This way, there is an understanding of why learning goals and achievements is a part of the whiteboard. It is a team effort as well as an individual effort to raise the competences in the team. Business results are in numbers like cost reduction per year, satisfaction index per month, income per week, income per product group per day, number of internet customers per hour, or production cost per day. Draw 1 box for goals and 1 for achievements. Some of the goals are long-term goals and other goals are short-term. Some teams find it very hard to relate to business results. Results are linked to customers and they perceive themselves as being far away from customers or not having customers at all. Everyone has customers. School teachers, dentists, bankers, lawyers, doctors, community workers, service officers. You as a manager have the responsibility to link whatever the team does to how that adds value to the customers. If the customers are satisfied, the team will reduce costs like waste, transportation, correction of mistakes, double work, and more that is negative spin-off when customers are dissatisfied. You measure the results, which are the outcome of the activities done in the previous period. You can choose to measure the individual, the team, or both. Which level you choose to measure on is dependent on the team and the individual. Some people are driven by having to achieve an individual goal, and some are driven by a team goal. A goal must be specific, measurable, attractive, realistic, and time-bound to be a valuable goal for the team. Activities are also in numbers, like number of successful projects implemented per year, number of cold canvas calls per month, number of customer meetings per week, number of contracts written per day, number of incoming calls handled per hour, or an efficiency percentage. Draw one box for goals and one for achievements. The activities you and the team decides to follow up on the whiteboard should be activities that are essential for the team to do to support reaching the organization's overall strategy, mission, and vision. If the selected activities are successfully executed, they are the means to reach the expected business results. You measure either standalone activities or average activities. A standalone activity can, for example, be a marketing campaign, a lean process, an important customer event, or an organizational change. Average activities are normally an efficiency number or percentage and can, for example, be number of contracts written per hour, number of handled phone calls per day, number of customer meetings per week, number of product areas discussed with the customer per meeting, number of surgeries per day, or number of proactive contacts with important stakeholders per month. To find an efficiency number, you measure every task to find the time it takes to do the task. At the same time, you find a fair percentage of effective working hours. To do that, you deduct the paid hours per week with absence like holidays, sickness, meetings, breaks, and other stuff. Based on available time in the coming week and how long time a certain task takes, you find out how many tasks you are able to do per week, day, or hour. That is your efficiency number. If you measure the actual task done and compare it with 100% equal to expectations or goals, you have your efficiency percentage. When the team count how much time a certain task takes to do, they are also able to write a standard operating procedure, an SOP, and the team can set their goals. When everyone follows the SOP or the standard operating procedure, the team can meet their goals. It is the team that should calculate and write their SOPs, since they are the experts in their job. Let the employees be responsible for the goals as well as you are. And if they are setting the goals, they are more likely to take responsibility for them. That way, it is also easier for you to lead the dialogues on continuous improvements. When all employees know the time a certain task takes to do and what their goals are, they are only responsible for producing the number of different tasks that correlate with the available time. All other tasks are the manager's responsibility to prioritize. This is the only way the manager knows exactly how many people is needed in the team at all times. That is also why the employees have to respect that it is the manager's job to prioritize. In some organizations, there are more than 100 people for each manager, and if that is the case, the responsibility for organizing and continuously improve the work lies with the team. The team is then responsible to analyze and report the workload to the manager. End of day, it is the manager's job to prioritize and set the right team. In this example, the goal is 5.67 and employee A has an efficiency percentage of 127% and thus a positive deviation, where employee B has 83% and a negative deviation. Be aware of how many activities you want to follow. If you have too many, you will lose people's focus. 1 to 3 activities are more than enough at a time. Better have less focus areas and short deadlines than many focus areas and long deadlines. There are 2 aspects of resources, both quantity and quality. Resources are covering everything that is needed to execute the activities that leads to the expected business results. Resources can be time, IT quantity and quality, locations quantity and quality, other equipment needed, and people in quantity and quality. The quantity is a measure of hours available. When measuring hours available for people, you count the hour per year and deduct days for holidays, sickness, meeting activities, training activities, lunch, projects, and other activities where the employee is not 100% focused on the core activities. Count IT and locations in a similar way and find the availability. The quality for people is a measure of competences linked to the job that has to be done. The level of passion put into the job, how much you believe that you can do it, and the level of possibilities you have to do the job right. Time is often embedded in the business results like incoming calls per hour. However, it doesn't say much about how many resources were available, both people and equipment. If this is important for you to follow, then make it visible on the whiteboard. It could be in a box with a number, or it could be listing the team members or the equipment's names and availability. IT and locations are often embedded in the strategy and not necessarily followed day by day. Learning objectives are followed to ensure that people increase their competences day by day, and making that visible inspires the team to help each other to excel in their job. List the team members' names, including your own name, and 1 to 3 learning objectives to be followed for the next quarter. Learning objectives could be structure in daily work, taking first customer contact, courage to speak in public, social networking, Chinese culture, and all other learning objectives that are important right now for the employee to take a next big step forward. To be even more competent, people need inspiration from others and training on the job. People's passion for the job is linked to the persons they are, what drives them to excellence, and how much they perceive that what they do matters. Believing that one can do the job is linked to the person's self-esteem. That comes from recognition from others and oneself and the person's perception of previous successes. This part is for the team's ideas on how daily operations can be handled easier, how things can be even more effective, how problems can be solved, how people can learn, and how new opportunities can be explored. Divide the section into these headlines. Idea, challenge. What is the idea or the challenge? Background, meaning what is the reason for the idea or the challenge? Activity, what is the activity needed to bring the idea to reality or to deal with the challenge? Deadline, what is the deadline? Responsible, and who is responsible? This is the part where you can follow all the activities the team has in the pipeline, both the ones that are implemented and the ones in progress. Draw a cake in front of each activity and divide it in 4. Fill in each piece of the cake as the idea or the challenge progresses. First part is covered when a responsible person has been selected and when there is a deadline. Second part after the investigation of the idea or challenge. Third part when implementation has started, and fourth part when implementation is finished successfully. In the part Important Messages, you can add important dates like upcoming birthdays, important deadlines, or other stuff important to know for the team. A performance management meeting is a tool with no right or wrong way of facilitating. It is up to you and the team how to use the whiteboard. This is a trial and error tool, so do not hesitate to get feedback and do not hesitate to let the team members facilitate too. Just hold on to your responsibility as a manager that the minutes spent adds value to daily operations. Count the numbers of people in your team, times the minutes you spent, time how much money they could have earned in that time, and calculate how much each meeting is supposed to add value. Of course, you cannot always count by the numbers how much value a meeting adds, but you can be sure that if it does not add enough value to the individual, they are not attentive or in worst case, not present at these meetings. Now it is time to dig into the guidelines, which are also advices from people who excel in performance management meetings. The starting point is the employees' ideas and resources. The employees are the experts at their own jobs and therefore the closest to discover where focus on improvements adds most value. They too have the resources to change things if the manager believes it too. Old school management is based on that the manager has all the answers. Performance management meetings at its best proves otherwise. This doesn't mean that you cannot contribute with your ideas. You are a member of the team just like the employees. Coach the team. Ask coaching questions all the way and let the employees find their way. This way you can concentrate on facilitating and the employees can concentrate on continuous improvements. Let the whiteboard come to life by being creative. Creativity is a necessity for movements. If the meetings are the same day after day, it adds no new energy, and the meetings tend to be boring and too boring to get people's attention. Therefore, you need to spend time on planning how you want every meeting to be a great experience. Vary the topics and do some unexpected things along the way. If you focus on what is most important in the moment, the variation will come. Respect that each individual has their own agenda for the meeting. People are different and value different things in a meeting. Some wants to compete and know if they are the best. Some wants to talk about how daily work is connected to the overall vision, mission and strategy. Some wants to bond and talk about how to structure daily work. And some wants to dig into details to be able to solve a certain problem. It is more likely that you have different profiles in the team than having the same profiles. Include yourself in the team and discover how differently the drivers of performance are. If you can balance ideas and challenges to focus on both task and people, you are more likely to meet personal demands from all profiles. Adjust to your people, even though it means that you need to step out of your personal comfort zone. Let your curiosity guide you to meet everyone's expectations. Let the team decide rules for how to act in the meetings. This can help the team to respect each other's preferences. Relate the whiteboard to the overall strategy. What you focus on must be related to the purpose of the team. Spend your time on important matters rather than endless discussions that leads you further away from creating the difference and the results the team are meant to create. You are the responsible manager in keeping the focus. Focus on what matters in the moment. The whiteboard is filled with endless information and reasons for discussions, and having only 15 minutes every morning guides you to focus on the most important every day. Ask yourself what focus areas is the most important to make the team take one more step forward. Ideas or challenges that needs investigation or discussions that takes longer time, delegate them or postpone them to a longer meeting, for instance once a week or month. Results are important outcome, but does not create any movement in itself. Focus on resources and activities do. Einstein said that nothing happens until something moves, nor do changes. Inspire people to believe that things can change and be a role model yourself. If nobody believes, how can anything change? If you're the first non-believer, there's not much hope, is there? No idea comes out of nothing. If someone can visualize it, that person can make it happen. Instead of saying no, be curious on the how, and no matter if this suggestion has been on the table before. Appreciate people and their achievements and potential. Appreciation is proven to be the catalyst for focus, increased productivity, and great achievements. Appreciation affects the heart and brain activity in a positive way. Therefore, celebrate successes even though goals have not been reached. Nothing is a total disaster, and improvements are like a staircase where you take one step at a time. And appreciation lasts for more than 6 hours if not disturbed by frustration. Appreciation can get people come back to get more, so let your performance management meetings be the appreciative kickstart of a great day. Inspire people to take responsibility by believing in them. Believe as much in the employees' ideas as you believe in your own. Making own ideas come to life is much more rewarding than getting all solutions from the manager. Reality shows that the employees do take even more responsibility when their own ideas are taken seriously. The strongest driver for any person is to be seen, heard, and taken seriously. Speed up and stay focused. Do the meeting standing up. When everyone is standing, the chance of speeding up, getting to the point, taking firm decisions, and staying focused is larger. This way you reduce dialogues and small talk that does not add value to performance. It is not that it isn't important with small talk for some people. It just belongs to breaks instead. Some people get very disturbed by it, and these 15 minutes is quality time for the team. Ask people to be on time. If you wait for 1 minute for one person, all of you present lose a minute. If you're 6 people at the meeting, this means 5 minutes a day, half an hour a week, 1,000 minutes a year. Add then frustration to it, and you have more than a year wasted time. Stop the meeting after 15 minutes sharp. If the meeting takes longer than expected, people tend to get restless and lose focus, and it will cost you too much time. Stick to the agenda, and if you or the person you have delegated it to for some reason is not there, someone else must be pointed out as responsible. Use the results as a starting point for discovering successes, learnings, and focus areas. No matter if the results are not living up to expectations, there's always something that has succeeded. If you want the results to increase, then focus on what works. Conventional managers tend to focus on what is missing and expresses disappointment. Easy, but it seldom creates the best movement. People get frustrated and lose their self-confidence. What you want as a manager is people who are focused and with self-confidence. If the goal, for instance, is 8 and the result is 1, the 1 is a success, and your starting question could be, how did we manage the 1? Ask more coaching questions to find out the difference that made the difference, and inspire the team to copy-paste in the future so that 1 will be 2, 3, 4 and up to 8 and more. Coaching questions for all 3 parts in the RA model, both results, activities and resources. Celebrate achievements as you go along with your coaching questions. The word wow is a great expression to get people's attention and get them engaged in the future journey. Take your time to discover the challenges too. If it is time to change the goals for the next period, for instance the next quarter, then coach the team to set new goals or write them on the whiteboard for those goals that are decided top-down, or the learning objectives that emerged at monthly meetings with your employees. There's probably information enough to explore to spend 1 or more meetings on this left side of the whiteboard. Choose your focus to match what is important to the team. Use the efficiency percentage to find deviations to learn from and use it also to celebrate achievements. If there's a positive deviation, you use that to ask questions to the team and the individuals on how this has been possible. If one person is more efficient than the other one, then the others can learn. For every improvement the team does, they have to adjust their SOPs, their standard operating procedures, and maybe also their goals. Number of improvements is a goal in itself, and the purpose is to work smarter, not harder. This means that it is much easier for the team to understand why the goals are continuously getting higher. If a person is not meeting the goals, then the manager asks questions to the individual and the team how this can be different in the future. It can, for instance, be to work smarter, to focus on quality in a different way, or to stop doing non-value-adding activities. A person that has to work differently to meet the expectations is not less of a person for that. That is also why the team can work together to help this person to change habits and work in an even better way. The manager must at all times stay appreciative, even if the situation occurs where it is time to say to an employee that the employee and the job requirements are not a good match. In this part, you have to create a movement. Continue with your coaching questions to explore the ideas, and remember that no idea is bad before possibilities for how it can come to life has been explored and validated. This part is meant to be a brainstorm ending up in concrete activities. You can choose to bridge the middle section with the left section, or you can focus solely on the middle section. If your team is creative and talkative, you can easily spend 1 or more meetings in this middle section. You are the facilitator and the one to decide what is more important to focus on to ensure the team's development. If you spend 1 or more meetings in this section, you probably want to explore ideas on how to be even more effective, like reduce waste, decrease transportation, reduce double work, or remove work that makes no sense to do. Your reason can also be to solve pending problems. You can spend 1 of your meetings to brainstorm, the next to explore, and the third to prioritize and delegate. You can use post-it papers to get people to brainstorm, and these post-it papers can be placed on the whiteboard whenever an employee gets a new idea or a new problem during a day. Ask the employees to write 1 idea or 1 problem on each paper. This way, you can start asking the team which of the ideas or problems are most important to focus on. That is a great way of prioritizing the time spent on each topic. Whether or not the team has reached the goals as planned, the middle part of the whiteboard can be used to discover new ideas on how to reach the goals or to high perform. Explore how to repeat successes, increase learning, and get new ideas on how to become even better. The bridge between the left section and the middle section of the whiteboard can be: discover past achievements and challenges, that's the left side. Celebrate the achievements, also the left side. Explore ideas, background, activities, deadline, and responsible, that's the middle part. Some of your opening questions to start the meeting can be: how can we do more of what succeeded for us in the past? What more can we do to be even better? What have others done that we can do too? How can we speed up our activities even more? How can we help each other to reach our personal learning goals? Based on the team members' answers, you can explore what can be done to improve even more in the future. Ask the team coaching questions until the ideas have developed into concrete activities and with deadline and responsible. Make sure that the team prioritizes the ideas to focus on no more ideas than is possible to implement. It doesn't have to be the person that comes up with a new idea who also have to investigate and implement it. It can instead be the one who engages in the idea, the one who is responsible for the area connected to this idea, or the one who has the time to do it. In this section, you can celebrate activities well implemented and celebrate progress in other activities. You can prioritize to ensure that new important activities can replace less important at the top of the list. Last but not least, you can speed up an activity. Ask coaching questions like: what did you personally do to make this activity such a success? What have you done to succeed with the progress so far? Which of these activities are now more important? What do you have to do to speed up the progress of this activity? You do not necessarily have to facilitate anything unless you want to have a dialogue. It could be to discuss important company messages, convert the messages into actions, celebrate a birthday, remind people to attend meetings, discuss reprioritization of work due to sick leave or other stuff. Take care that important messages is not the only thing you can manage at every meeting. People tend to want to discuss things that can easily be handled by a manager decision or between two team members. Be flexible and creative in your facilitator role. The idea is to focus on different parts of the whiteboard every morning, so the meetings do not become boring to attend. Here are some topics to focus on. Communicate the top-down business goals for those that are top-down goals. Involve your team in setting the right business goals for those that are bottom-up goals. Involve your team in what to learn to be able to meet the business goals. Walk through the activities leading to the business results and celebrate the successes. Learn from a particular success and focus on personal learning objectives for each team member and celebrate achievements. Facilitate a brainstorm on a specific topic to get new ideas for activities. Facilitate a brainstorm on a challenge to get ideas for how to meet the challenge. Discover your value chain to remove waste, transportation, double work, or activities that does not add value. Follow up on planned activities, plan the daily activities, and communicate important messages to the team. Be creative both with the way you facilitate the meeting and how the whiteboard looks. Use post-its. Don't be afraid of colors. Draw on the whiteboard with colored pens. Let the employees make the whiteboard personal by letting them facilitate a morning meeting as well. Just do not forget that you are in charge and responsible for the outcome. A good question to know the answer to is: why do people attend meetings? What do they dream of when attending a performance management meeting? Here are 4 characters who each want something different. The hunter wants to know: how much am I a winner? Which decisions has to be taken? What are the most important quick hits? What is the fastest way to success? How do I become a winner? How am I being measured on my success? How can this meeting end as quick as possible? The scientist has these questions. Which competences do we need to improve to increase quality? Which new challenges are we facing? Which systems have to be maintained, improved, or developed? How do we expand our knowledge? What can go wrong? And what do we do to plan for it not to go wrong? How can we do our task perfect? What are all the details about the task we have to do? The conqueror's questions could be, what is our missions and dreams? What can we do differently to be even more fantastic? How do we share learnings and successes? What do we celebrate? What can we recognize and appreciate each other for? How do we have more fun? How do we set the right team? And the nurse's questions could be, which methods and systems can we keep? How can we avoid conflicts? How can we improve our way of working together? How do we maintain our job satisfaction? How do we care more about each other? What do we want customers and colleagues to say about us? What kind of changes should we be prepared for, and how do we avoid them to interfere with structures that are already works fine? Find out what the team members are looking for by asking them how they prefer a meeting to be. Listen to the feedback you get when each meeting is over and adjust as much as possible. Remember that you cannot meet everyone's expectations at every meeting, but you can do your best to meet expectations by varying how you facilitate the meetings. You can share this responsibility with the team by having an open dialogue where you ask them what is more important for each of the team members. When listening to each other, they too will discover that the meetings cannot always be the way they want them to be. A minor change every day can mean a lot of changes during the year. A project can be implemented as a bulk of changes at a time and where the employees are not necessarily involved in the analyzing and planning phase. This can be very effective if the employees are involved no later than when planning the implementation in the team. The short performance management meetings are excellent for continuous improvements and are based on the employees' ideas. Think of what each approach can do for the team's development before you choose a project or performance management meetings as your tool.